Good morning. Happy Friday. This week went kind of fast for a market that was like dead. All this news coming, blah, 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 and nothing. Anyway, maybe just a sign of where we've come from and where we're at. So, momentum has come to a screeching halt. We'll see if 10 o'clock has an effect on that or not. But looking at the charts as we do objectively, not much is going on. But the point is, while not much is going on, we have to put that picture of not much going on in the context of what preceded it. So, in the way that we do, interest rates, the threat of going higher, they broke out and they've been doing nothing for almost 2 weeks. Where are they in relation to the wide range breakout bar? They're in the upper half. We've got some red bars ignored, got some green bars that didn't do too much. Yesterday looked like it was going to break lower. It held. Markets looked like they were going to break lower and reversed at the end of the day. I think maybe more so because they didn't go down. But we've got kind of I would say, mediocre kind of buy setup on the equities. We'll see if it follows through. I'll explain why. But this trading range, it's a trading range in the upper half of a wide range bar. Will it break down? Will it break out? The pattern suggests higher. I think that is not going to be a good thing if that happens. A lot of speculation about uh, commercial real estate loans and regional banks, and interest rates go higher, more pressure on them. And so, as well as a measure of, hey, is more inflation. If people are demanding more higher interest for lending money, well, you know the story. This goes up, the cost of everything goes up. Right? Borrowing money for whatever you want. Okay, so we'll see. The other thing that's happening today that caught my eye is crude oil is knocking on that door again. It looked like it was going to go higher and it whipped back down, and buyers stepped up again. And today it is starting to peekaboo above the high here. So this inflation gauge that came out yesterday, that was like, oh, this is great, the Fed's favorite gauge, an inch lower. Well, it excludes food and energy. Well, what if this starts breaking higher? I think you need to keep an eye on that. That's this or USO if it starts to move higher. And then, of course, how are we going to make money from that? Well, a lot of energy stocks look like crap, but maybe they're going to lift off of the lows. So we'll keep an eye on that. So gold pop up yesterday, was shaping up, and it continues to shape up. It's got a decent weekly chart here. Um, it's got these pivots to the left. It's not the greatest, but this has clearly become a significant support area where buyers are stepping up and pushing it back higher again. Of course, the unknown is whether they can get through here, but whether you want to consider taking a position here, I don't think it would be a bad idea, with a stop, say, under these lows here, because as it gets up there, then you're kind of chasing it. Maybe it keeps going. I don't know, but it's certainly developing. Why do they do that when food and energy are still rising? I guess to report the numbers that they like. I don't know, but there are the numbers that include that. So, you know, why it's up to us to monitor these things ourselves, because we can't rely on the government for anything other than to screw us over. Maybe that'll change in November, Don. I know you're hoping for that, like we all are, with the right candidate. All right, silver at support. not doing too much of anything. Let's take a look at gasoline. It's kind of basing out there. It's got a weekly chart that looks like it can go up. Not that I want to pay more for gas, but I'm going to send an alert up here just to see if it starts moving up. So semiconductors were great yesterday. They didn't make new highs, but they certainly kept, I think, the markets afloat where they were threatening to go lower or were lower. And this strength here is a good thing. Now, that being said, as we look at other equities, you can see slowing momentum, small range. So as we get in, I don't know, none of us know how today will unfold. Maybe this will continue to move higher. I don't know. Can it break above last week's high? Does it just close as an inside day? We'll see. But we got this wider range bar on the weekly chart and this inside bar here. And if we end today, that's something that looks like this. Historically, a move that has gone as far as this one has, breaking below a narrow range bar could start a move lower. And as we look at this minor support here, breaking below that, of course, breaking below this bar would break the weekly low. And it's got this gap here. So there could be a little bit of a downdraft, but it's in an uptrend. So, while we look for, what is the trend? There's the trend in multiple time frames. What would cause a trend change? We want to, monitor risk or the lack thereof. And so while this is not accelerating higher, and it's kind of stair stepping, which is a good thing, sideways, up, sideways, down, up, sideways. It leaves support areas below. So we really don't, if this breaks here short term, it's like, oh my goodness, what happened short term? But in an intermediate point of view, things are still look pretty solid. But if interest rates and crude oil start rising, and this whole regional bank thing, what is that New York bank? NYCB, is it? Got cracked. Whoa. Look at where that is today, gapping down again. So that is not positive, of course. And it's kind of like cockroaches. When you see one, there's got to be others out there. So we'll keep that in mind. All right, broader markets, spiders. Two nice levels of major support down below. Major support, minor support right here. That's why it's a kind of an iffy kind of buy setup. Little tiny narrow pullback there into that support. Was down yesterday. It came down into the gap fill, rallied up, and then at the end of the day, blop blop, up and down as it hit support. It backed off. So right now it's kind of pretty much unchanged. Not really doing much of anything. SPX, no levels even come close this week. Little buy setup there. Again, 10 o'clock numbers. So there's number risk out there, and it's 10 o'clock. So I would suggest standing aside until after that and see how things look. We've got these minor support and major support levels, rising 20, rising 50. The distance between the 50 and the 200 continue to increase. So one measure of getting extended. Whole numbers, see, hey, it's 5,200, the next step, or is 5,000 and 4,900 the next step? We'll see. But you can see a little narrow range bar right there. John's asking about NVIDIA showing relative strength. Well, relative compared to what, John? Compared to the broader markets, it's been a monster. So it's been like one of the strongest things out there next to that supercomputer. Maybe this is stronger than supercomputer, but so far, moving up like that, extended from the 20, it isn't budging. So buyers aren't running for the hills. A little bit of profit taking, but not much going on there. Set an alert under the slow and see what happens. Industrials, little pullback to the 20, flip up, narrow range bar, same stuff. Transport's not doing a thing so far, holding up, chopping sideways. The Russell showed some relative strength yesterday. Popped up above the top of the range and came back in again. Weekly looks pretty darn good. We'll see if it can hold up. If it holds the top of the range or whatever it's going to do. Bottom of the range, top of the range. We need a little bit more of something to tell us what's going to happen, whether we want to buy there. This is great. Retailing continues to do well. A nice one in the ETF letter. And, technology. This was that Palo Alto and NVIDIA gapped it back up so far. Bullish consolidation at resistance. Nice day yesterday. More of a let's see if it breaks out or not. And Bitcoin, I guess at some point it's got to come in a little bit. That's a void, no doubt. Look at the distance from the 20. It's up a whole heck of a lot, but so far holding there. Resistance is up higher. We shall see what that does. And so is for today. If you're going to do something before 10, be nimble or have your larger stops. We'll see what numbers they're going to come out there. But you got SMI, manufacturing, employment, consumer sentiment, construction spending, new orders for SMI, Michigan 5-year inflation. There's a bunch of stuff coming out at 10 o'clock, and then you got a few talking heads, Fed guys speaking at 10, 15, and 12. So blah, blah, blah. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Happy Zero DTE Day. As always, Greg will be looking at his levels. We'll all be looking at zero DTE trades from earnings, the regular suspects. I noticed Apple got a downgrade. So the FANGs, we've been saying that's relative weakness. It's a big old descending triangle too, from Wednesday's class. Starting up here, lower pivot high, lower pivot high. Greg, this is weird. This isn't. Oh, it's okay. Never mind. I was going to say it didn't put a pivot bar there, but that's just hard to see. It's there. Let's see what oil up. We mentioned APA and NOV being the weakest. So now that oil's up, these will be even better shorts if they trigger. My only alarm going off is snow. We did a put spread last week, the 170. I'm sorry, I did a put spread yesterday for next week. And just from volatility contraction, and now it's up $4 from where we entered it, we're going to have a nice open profit and just overnight. So that's why I sent out a text thing there, just moving it to break even now. SMCI bothered by Dell. Yeah, this SMCI has been another machine. That is a monster gap. The expected move was $6.50, so that's just dwarfed it. And I was thinking about gaps, even on earnings, and the efficient market hypothesis. Yeah, that would do it, Patrick. Exactly right. it's thinking the efficient market is supposed to discount in all information and all available information. And, these big gaps, that's, that's telling me, no, you're not efficient. You shouldn't be gapping up $30. You know, if you were efficient, then it should already be priced in over the last quarter. See what I'm saying? But that doesn't matter. We just trade what we're dealt. Yeah, I've been watching this New York bank here for a while here. It's been dead money, and now it's another leg down. We were watching KRE yesterday, but I didn't like the toppy tail. So now, I'm sure it's going to be hard to find any regional bank of interest. IWM actually holding pretty darn well in light of regional banks down. All right, FUBO 240, no pattern. Yeah, I saw sound down 614. There's a bullish gap. Let's watch that on a pullback. That's bullish. FSR, another Joe Biden EV stock. Going to the graveyard, already got delisted. It's over the counter. Look at this. I think I said on the monthly in the green room right there. I said it looks like it's headed to the graveyard right there at 535. I surely would not want to own one of those cars. BRBK, bearish gap, no pattern. Sierra Golf, gap's too big. KDP. I don't know if this was earnings or secondary offering or whatever. But downtrend. ADM I like. I have it here in the middle chart. This is a gap breakout. It'd be a no-brainer put spread to 53s. And I'll just have to watch it in the opening session for a long. MTZ, gap's too big, but bullish daily, weekly, monthly. Let's watch a pullback. TDW, slopping around. 1650. Bearish gap, but no pattern. Cube. I don't see any prints. We'll come back to it. The room. It was a gapping down, but I don't see any candles. SPX gapping down to $8. That's a bearish gap. Look at that. Can't even see the data on my daily weekly. Fisker's a cheat. Really? All right, thanks. No, I appreciate the facts, Scott. I appreciate it. It doesn't change my opinion. I'm not in favor of anybody, trying to pound stuff down your throat that we don't want. I believe in free market. But no, I appreciate the clarification. All right, $8, that's bearish. Cool. We'll come back. No pattern. And as you know, Scott, don't get me started. I hate subsidies. You can't survive on your own. You heard me say yesterday, if these Chinese EVs hit our market, then I think it's a no-brainer. We're going to have more bailouts for our industries. So that's just a textbook of we can't compete. And then Chinese will be listening to your conversations in the cars and, driving your car around at night when you're not, when you're sleeping. Vive, this 10-minute low could be a 0 DTE call spread. Vive. Now, had this opened flat, that's a bullish pattern, getting extended here. Look at the MAs, but gap's messing it up. Apple downgrade we talked about. Autodesk big old gap. Gap's too big, but watching on the pullback. Dell we know about. I just put Dell on my other computer for 0 DTE call spread. Once I, have some data to suggest it might be a high for the day. Because those call premiums are going to stay jacked. Now, this was a beautiful pattern. Had it open flat and given us an inside bars, a 1, 2, 3. I would have been all over this on Monday. But yeah, must have. Now it's a call spread idea. HPE gapping down. That's bearish. That's bearish all time frames. 754. All right. This is not a textbook W bottom just because it kind of it didn't come down fluid. But it's a nice bullish retest. Look at the volume yesterday into earnings. Looks like somebody knew something there, but gap's too big. NTAP, monster gap. Monster. I'll watch this for 0 DTE too. Here's our sound hog. This I wish I forget. I think my alarm went off and it was just ripping this day, but that was our entry on this thing. Gap in a no man's land, nothing to do. Zulu Sierra. There's a bearish gap from a sell setup. I'll put that in a window. Zulu Sierra. Those are all the earnings. Mindy put spread idea under Wednesday's low. IBM, I have an alarm at 186.50. Sears, sell setup, 3-bar turn. I have an alarm at 27.90. Jabil, closing breakout, bullish, all time frames. And Dash, I think I just typed this out. And I'm not crazy about it as a directional with this rejection, but put spread idea. Net making the turn, so I'm in no rush. But big old bullish gap, kind of a retest here at the 20, bullish weekly, monthly. AI, we know that Musk is suing them. Apple just nosediving here to the open. Microsoft ripped into the close yesterday. No pattern though. Google's been a bad boy this week with their new woke machine. Meta close very bullish. Amazon very bullish. I would love a 1, 2, 3 on Amazon. Is this all-time highs? Nope. What a recovery from, look at that, $80. It's doubled. Amazing 4-month rally here. Tesla. Put spread idea. Let me set an alarm 202 for maybe a 0 DTE. But to do a 7 DTE, I'd want it to clear the week's high. But 202, I'll look at it. Let's see, it's usually juicy. And Microsoft's usually juicy. And Apple has not been juicy over the past year, particularly after the split. All right, that's these are all these alarms. So let me go up here. These are left over from yesterday. SLG, hopefully we get an inside bar. AEHR, possible retest pattern. Let me set an alarm 1662. which is kind of over that pre-market bar. ARW, I'd like to go sideways another day, but then it has a void up here. EVR bullish, Owl bullish, Amazon we know about, Cuervo Gold, top of the range, but bullish all time frames. PSA, I gave a put spread over yesterday's high. Charlie Foxtrot, I would like a 1, 2, 3. Bravo Zulu, it's sloppy, but breaking out. Charlie Echo looks great. Let me set an alarm 152.50. Greg, I hear your mic on, just so you know. That's a Beeford AI stock. It's sloppy, just like the other microcomputer stock we were trading the other day. It's sloppy, but when you're wanting to get on board, the entry is over the red bar, but it has earnings next week is the problem. All right, Snow we know about. We did a put spread. XEL, that's just out of curiosity, is all. Does anybody know what happened to us yesterday? That's quite, look at the size of that bar. And I tell people to put tape over the price because it doesn't matter. I don't care if this is $1,000 stock or a $5 stock. That is one nasty, nasty red bar on volume. And it actually was a very tradable 1, 2, 3. Dunking put spread idea. Clorox looks fantastic. Let's see, do I have an alarm? Sanmina up alarm. Charlie Foxtrot. Oh, now Clorox is down, so I doubt it's gonna have a very hard time. Thanks, Alex. Alex, did you use the woke search engine or a reliable one? All right, Zulu Sierra down. That's in the middle of no man's land. Looks lower, but
COHR is moving up from a buy.
who?
COHR.
Coher. Yeah. Let's see. Snowden up alarm. Good. Nice. We had a beautiful entry on a put spread yesterday. Sanmina up alarm. Let's tighten the stop now. How about under this bottoming tail? AEHR alarm. This was a little double bottom. I'm in no rush. Let's see how it closes. But that's a beautiful retest. How about under this green bar? 62, 68. ARW alarm. Is that maybe Sam Iams? I forget. All right, 62 Oh, we met our upper target. This is why my alarm went off on San Mino. Nice. So we've ridden the whole thing and just giving them a third right now. Yeah, I like Cuervo. Yep, yep. I mentioned it. Arrow, CVLT, uh, CVLT. I like a lot. Let me get rid of Zulu Sierra. Oh shoot, Dell already. I'm I'm watching it. That call spread. But yeah, CVLT looks great. Daily, weekly.